Hello there, and welcome to the Outside Film Podcast, where we talk film, TV, games, and all that jazz like there's no tomorrow. This week, we're talking about Morbius. My name is Tom, as always. I'm joined by my co-host John. The week has finally arrived. Oh boy, we just came back from seeing this film at the cinema, and yes, it's not good. Spoilers
it's
ahead.
Not good. What's
Yes.
the title going to be?
I'm just gonna say I've just said that Morbius makes no sense because it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
Spoilers ahead for everything. So, if you want to see it,
I mean,
do.
It's better to, if you want to know the spoilers, because this film is just horrendous. It's just it might be worse than Crimes of Grindelwald. If you've not heard of Crimes of Grindelwald review, do that and then hear the other ones. But
that was literally last week. We thought that we could never get any worse than Crimes of Grindelwald, and we literally have less than just about a week later. Like, wow. I mean, just I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to. Please tell me, where do we start?
I think we just go from the beginning and then work our way through with cinematography, editing, performance,
the key elements.
The whole thing. The key elements, because the key elements, story-wise, the story was just so bad. Wow. Okay, the beginning. This was so weird. At the beginning, we've got Morbius. Oh, I can't believe his second name's Morbius. I thought it was just like a persona for this.
I thought you knew. There was just this moment when we were walking back from the cinema, and John turns to me and just goes, "His second name's Morbius," and I'm like, "Yes, it is." Oh yeah, it's weird.
No, I thought it was like persona name for Morbius. That's a cool name.
Do people, because people in the comics, they call him Morbius the Living Vampire. Do people know that it's Michael Morbius, or do they just not put those two things together?
No, because I didn't really go for context for this character because I never read who he was in the Marvel comics or any of that. But my apologies if you're hardcore Morbius fans. I'm sorry if you're
the biggest Morbius fans are listening.
Yeah, so at the beginning, we're just getting a strange introduction into the film. He just lands the helicopter in Puerto Rico, I think, and
yeah, I think
he just goes, "Hey, don't go after dark." He just says that. He just says that. It has nothing to do with anything. And then we thought this was going to be like a good introduction to Morbius and like what it's going to do. But we thought that scene was going to be in for later, but no, it's just there.
Yeah, it starts in the modern day with him finding the bats or something. And then it cuts to 25 years earlier, and it tells the story of Michael Morbius and his best friend Milo. And then it cuts to the present day. So we've gone from the present day to the past, back to the present day. And then they just tell the story, but they leave out the whole bit in Puerto Rico from the beginning. So
yeah,
the whole time, I thought that this beginning segment would be like how he got his powers. Yeah. Apparently not.
No. And the way that he's got his powers was just so underwhelming. Like,
yeah,
how, superheroes or supervillains find out what the power is. It's from bat blood.
Yeah, he even transforms off screen. We don't even get like a big moment where he transforms.
No,
they just they're like, "Oh, where's Michael gone?" This is Martine, his friend, and like another like a mercenary, and the two of them walk in, and they're like, and then Morbius is just on the ceiling and just begins to wreck stuff up in a very underwhelming way. Like none of the action in this really hits at all.
No, and the way it's funny because this is the same universe as Venom, and Venom had a great introduction to like the powers and everything that it had, and a great introduction.
That's one of the best scenes in that movie.
Yeah, that's one of the best scenes. But Morbius, he's just like, "Hey guys, I've got my powers now." So it's like getting the powers from Bat Blood, and it's so strange. Like when he's in the lab and you get see the bats, you're like, "Oh, where did that come from?" But then he's like, "Oh no, I got those bats from Puerto Rico." I was like, "Oh, so."
I didn't even pick up on that. It wasn't until you told me that I was like, "Oh, okay,
sure, I guess."
Why not?
It's so strange. The editing, oh my god, it's so inconsistent.
It really is.
It's
The whole
just
thing
not.
is completely nonsensical. Like after he goes about on his killing spree, I want to point out the whole time he's fully clothed, and the first thing he does when he transforms back from the vampire into regular self is he takes off his his shirt to reveal his beautiful strong body. He looks at himself in the mirror and then picks up another shirt, a shirt that was just randomly on this boat that they're in. Why are they on a boat? I don't
I
think
don't know.
that's even explained.
Wait,
Like,
wait. Yeah, that's the most confusing bit. I thought that the boat was heading to that island in the in the opening scene. I thought that was going to be
yes,
it,
me too.
but no. Where was it going in the first place?
I
Where?
don't know. It doesn't make any sense. I was really expecting, okay, so they're gonna like find these, they need these bats, and so they go and find, like, they just completely forget about that and don't mention it again. There's a lot of stuff in the opening that they really forget about. Like, he obviously he's a doctor and he's trying to cure other people with his condition. So there's this young girl called Anne who he's kind of treating at the beginning, and they have to put her into a medically induced coma, and we really don't see anything from Anne after like the opening section. I don't think we do anyway, do we? I don't think we
No,
do.
I thought that was going to be his like driving force. Like he's trying to keep his motivation towards how to save the people. He's a doctor, and he wants to save Anne, but Anne is just not there anymore. Just okay, right.
We can only assume that Anne died off screen.
Oh,
She's dead
rest in
now.
peace, Anne. Oh man, and it's not great. Jared Leto as the doctor. He's like, okay, thank you, doctor.
He spends more time in this film telling people he's a doctor and making like origami things out of paper than he does like being an actual doctor. It's like you would think there's this brilliant bit in the opening where Milo, his friend, is like hooked up into like a machine, and the machine starts to malfunction, and Milo, he starts flatlining, so he's gonna die. And so Morbius, he thinks really fast, and he gets a pen, takes the spring out of it, and bearing in mind he's about like 14 here, and he opens up the machine and he uses this spring to fix it. And it's like, this 14-year-old, they even say this, like, you're more clever than the scientists who made this like machine. And it's like, is he though? Because
Is he though?
there's only one other scene in the film where he is like clever, kind of like where he's like building this machine in this new lab he finds. But it's such a weird scene.
Oh yeah, I just remembered about that scene. Like he just goes and finds a very secret area, and he just goes in and just like, hey guys, I'm not the bad guy, but I'm just gonna walk in and just take this lab. And like, oh, okay. And the character of Morbius is just so, he's nothing. I'm
really
sorry,
is nothing. Like, the performance, like, Jared Leto gives him like nothing. Like, there are a couple of moments where he's charming, but other than that, like, he kisses the love interest, a kiss that comes out of absolutely nowhere. Like, it's completely out of the blue.
He's just so like nothing. Like, as a doctor, we see like no emotional pull, like, as from the performance. Like, he's trying to do this cure, and his Jared Leto's like, oh, you found out the bats, you found out and it just reminds me of that Joker. Somehow he did the performance of Joker better than Morbius. I don't know how.
I mean, like, that we don't even get a sense that, because there's a moment where one of his colleagues is killed by the villain, and we'll get to the villain. But Morbius does not. He talks about how they worked together for years, and he doesn't show any kind of grief that his friend has died. He's so self-centered. He really doesn't show any care for anyone, even when it's his best friend who's like, oh, I really need this cure and you're not giving it to me. He's just like, no, fuck you. And that could be an interesting character point. They could explore the fact that he's really self-centered, doesn't care about anyone. It could be a character arc that he learns to care. No, that is not at all what that's not what happens in the slightest. He just doesn't go through any arc.
No, literally, there's no arc apart from the villain. Does he have an arc? No,
kind of.
I don't know.
I mean, the villain has the benefit of being just the best part of the film, hands down.
Yes, hands down. We'll talk about the villain in a bit, but in the love interest between Morbius and Martine is just nothing. There's nothing about it. It's like we're gonna fall in love, I guess. We're gonna kiss each other. Like that was so random. Like
It was a very weird scene. He was like, come here, and he just kisses it. It's like, all right, a bit of like weird way to do it, but sure, I guess. It was just so confusing, just all the routes that they
yeah.
take. Like, and they don't really have that much chemistry. I don't really know why she cares for him so much. Like,
No, I don't.
you could
really
argue
care.
that because he's all helpless at the beginning, but even then, like, there's not really much to them.
You know,
Bad.
the thing about like the artificial blood, like that is just there for the film. Like it doesn't really give out, emotional pull. I mean, there were some characters that like, oh, thank you, doctor. Your blood has helped me in Afghanistan. I think Tyrese character says that. Yeah. But there isn't really like amazing about the artificial blood unless they showed it or something. But it's just like showed at the awards at the beginning of the film, like, Morbius, thank you for your artificial blood. It has helped more times than penicillin. Like, oh, okay. So there's really nothing
Great.
special about the character. And like,
yeah, that scene in so I think it's the first scene after we get like the childhood scenes, and we
yeah,
see that Morbius is gonna get an award, and it cuts away to the next day, and the girl Anne, the little girl, is saying to him, "Oh, I can't believe you didn't get the award. I can't believe you like insulted the king and queen of Sweden," and it's just like, why wouldn't you show us that? That feels like a character trait that they completely ditched of him, disliking people because, like they're kind of trying to profit off of him trying to save lives. It was just very strange that they just introduced that for one scene
oh,
and then didn't do anything with it. Do you remember that?
I didn't pick up on that. I didn't really hear what was going on because it's kind of hard what they're saying because of like really deep accents. I don't know. Like
Yeah, Jared
I don't
Leto's
know.
he's given a very like whispery performance.
And then after the vampire's like Morbius. So yeah. It's so yeah, with like there's no remorse about the character that just dies. She just gets killed randomly. It's not really shown like why she's killed. Yeah,
Yeah,
there
that was a
wasn't.
weird scene where it was like it's horror and stuff.
It was actually proper horror. Actually, that was really good. Like the lights, like how they did that. But then again,
Yeah,
it's just
that did get a jump scare out of me.
oh really?
Yeah, it made me jump. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
I maybe I saw you just like maybe moved a muscle like your arms. I don't know. I just
yeah.
I was sitting there just like with the pain. I think the pain was like numbing me from the jump scares. I was just like, oh, good horror.
To be
good
fair,
horror.
it was just that one. That was the only scene where they tried to do something really horror kind of oriented. Well, the action in general, the action was really, really bland. It was so incredible. They kept on doing this whole like Zack Snyder 300 like slow motion into like normal speed. It was just a strange device used in some really, really boring action scenes that didn't have anything interesting to them.
It's so bizarre, like what they've done with the CGI. Well, the CGI was good, but it was just like the fights, like it was so underwhelming. Like there was one chase thing, was when
Oh my god.
Jared Leto was on, like running away from the FBI and getting on the roof, and then he was just wobbling off, just like about to fall off the roof because I think he just got the air. Oh yeah, it's not really fully explained about the air just like
Yeah, I
helps
think
Morbius to fly.
yeah,
It's
the idea is that it carries him, but he's on this building, and I mean it doesn't make any sense. First of all, he like jumps up the building, and it's like I don't know, maybe like 10 floors, and Tyrese takes the stairs and manages to get there as fast as Morbius, who's literally just jumping like four floors at a time. But it's like he reaches the edge and he literally has like the biggest wobble ever, and then Tyrese is there with a gun, and it's just like, why aren't you gonna disarm him? Like you have powers, why aren't you just gonna like stop? Like come on, it really was a lazy chase sequence. And there was another time when the villain Matt Smith was like running towards Morbius, and Morbius was like sensing the wind. And it was in oh, it was so stupid. It was in slow motion, and it lasted for about 3 minutes of Morbius like just looking around as the wind was in slow motion, and then Matt Smith was running towards him, and then he ended up like jumping in front of the train and getting
Oh,
carried away in the wind. It looked so stupid, but also it was just weird editing.
yeah, and the way Matt Smith was running towards Morbius, Michael, the Jared Leto, he was like running
Michael,
towards him. It was just hilarious. He was like running in slow motion. That was just a really weird bit, and then he just flies because of the wind.
of course,
Of
that
course.
old chestnut. The wind equals flight.
Funny joke. I found something hilarious. You know the doctor. I don't know if it's the doctor. There's so many doctors in this film. The carer, I guess.
Yes.
You know the carer at the beginning of the film is like,
Yeah.
"Hey, be nice to him." And then when it's 25 years later, he hasn't aged a day.
He looks the exact same. I think he might have a beard, but other than that, he's just the same. He doesn't
His
look
hair's
like.
shorter, I guess.
Come on, like you're not even
Come
gonna try a
on,
little
mate.
bit. I don't even know if that like opening. It might have been a reshoot because it makes so. First of all, the carer doesn't age. Second of all, they give so throughout the film, Milo has a cane, and before he gets powers, Michael, he has like two crutches. But then in the flashback, Michael has a cane, and Milo has two crutches. Like what? Like what? Like to the point where when we were walking up back from the cinema, you thought that they were each other when actually, like what? Like excuse me, doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make
Confusing.
sense.
Why are they in Greece? Why is no one speaking Greek?
Why are they in Greece?
I don't know.
Wait. This whole time, like, I did not realize that they were in Greece. Like, when I looked at it, it's like, oh, okay, Greece. And then he just goes to New York. It's so bizarre. It's not even properly explained why they're in Greece. It's just something. But the villain, let's talk about the villain. Matt Smith, he has carried this film. I feel sorry for Matt. He's like carrying this whole thing, and he's like so good at his role in this film.
He is so good. He's got so much charisma, and he's really hamming it up as well. Like he's not. He knows that he's in a bad film, and he's just having fun. There's a scene where he's dancing in front of the mirror, and it's just like a really fun scene, and everything. Like, yeah, he is basically just like an evil vampire. He has what a lot of superhero origin stories have on film, you know, like just an evil, it's like the same powers as the hero but evil. So he's not that like inventive as a character, but Matt Smith really makes the role his own.
Yeah, and the way how he embodies the villain as well, like throughout the film, and there is a little like change. You can see he wants the blood or the thing. I don't know what it's called with the blood. It's not explained. Like, oh, can I have the thing, please? It needs. I'm sick of this disease that's spreading to my in my body. And then that change when he goes to see Michael in that cage, in prison, and then he starts walking without the cane. It's a great reveal.
They've basically taken the same reveal from the Usual Suspects.
Yes, yes,
They just done the same thing.
Oh, yeah,
And I appreciated that, but it was a weird like because it was a very obvious twist. Like, why didn't they show him? Twist. Why didn't they show his like process of taking the serum? Like that would be an interesting scene.
Yeah, but no, we just saw him walking. Wow, guys, he's good. He's walking now. I just found some really funny bits in the film with Matt Smith. There's one scene where he was just dancing in front of the mirror, half naked, with just like, yeah, just dancing, and just like, oh, hell yeah, this is Matt Smith. And then there's one other scene where he just stares at Martine and Michael just kissing.
Yeah, the one time they have a kiss, or like the first time, should I say, it just cuts to Matt Smith watching them on a bridge, and he doesn't even do anything with that information. It's like he's like, oh, okay, they love each other, so I'm going to like kill her, kind of. But then she's alive at the end because she drinks Morbius's blood, which is something that they didn't establish, but I guess it's just a vampire thing. It just, Oh, it's so lazy. It's so lazy.
Yeah, it's nothing and it's lazy. And there was like nothing. I don't know what else to say about. Oh yeah, the carer, he just dies. He just gets killed by Milo.
Yeah.
There's nothing. There's nothing significant about it. Like, I mean, I guess with Milo, trying to, say, Milo, you changed a lot, bro. And it's like, yeah, I like blood now. So,
Yeah,
and
I
he
guess
just,
so. Like, there's a scene at the beginning where he gets beaten up by a group of like kids, and then like when the kids leave, like he kind of snaps and he starts like kicking one of the ones that he had hit, and it felt very much like a lecture in Amazing Spider-Man 2. We've introduced the fact that this guy maybe has a screw loose, that maybe this person's got some like anger issues, but they just don't explore that. Like we don't see
no,
anything further, and so he just seems like an absolutely fine guy with a bit of a chip on his shoulder at the beginning, and then he's just like, as soon as he gets the blood, then he snaps. And it's like you could show him that he always has had that darkness inside of him. There's so much development of characters they just don't do. The whole film, Morbius has 2 FBI guys like tracking him,
oh my
and
god,
they do
they,
literally nothing throughout the whole film other than deliver exposition. They don't like add any stakes. The only thing they do is put Michael in prison, but he breaks out so easily. It's ridiculous.
yeah, another thing that I want to point out with like Milo's backstory and the FBI stuff, it's nothing like consistent. Like they could show like motivation for him, like he wants to fight against the world. People bullied him, and he wants to fight back. And there was one other one I forgot that had that. Like oh no, I'm not going to compare it to Bane. I'm not going to compare it to Bane.
Don't you
I don't
dare.
know.
Not the
No,
genius of Bane.
no, sorry. No, like a villain's backstory. I don't know. It's a bit hard. Yeah, something like that. Like to show his motivation. But no, he just like gets the blood and just like we can do whatever we want. And that line, whatever we want, that's not really specified for his motivation. You know what I mean? Like he can walk, he can do whatever he want. But then there was nothing like the darkness inside of him. But at the beginning, he's a charismatic guy. He's like enjoying life and everything. But
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's so like everyone is so underdeveloped. There are no arcs. And at the end, he's like, oh, when Morbius kills him, he's like, oh, I'm your friend and you just killed me. And we don't get any time for Morbius to like maybe sit with that decision. We don't
yeah,
it's not good. It is very similar to the first Venom. And and you can see our video on the 2 Venom films, but like this is so much worse. It really like, and I was expecting it to be bad, but not this bad. Like, come on. Like I couldn't even tell you one good scene in the film. That's pretty bad.
I don't know what's wrong with this. Oh yeah, and the FBI guys, they did nothing. They just like walked around like, hey, we found something. And then there was one bit that I just couldn't stop laughing when the FBI guys was just like on the computer and he just literally has no clue what he's doing, but the screen just helped him. Just like his hands
Yeah.
in the right place. Oh, I hate when films like, like they just go get the character, they just click random buttons. And then
Yeah, just clacking away, and then the computer's like, oh, you want this very specific thing? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And
there was and there were a lot of like really bad attempts at comedy. For example, there's one moment where one of the FBI agents is like, oh, I brought holy water, and it's like, why just uh it's not funny.
holy
It's really
water.
not funny.
It's not funny.
Can we talk about, before we wrap up, can we talk about the post-credit scenes?
I hate this post credit scene. I really do. So the post credit scene reveals that I don't know how, but the Vulture somehow has transported to this universe.
Yeah, I think the idea is because the sky opens. I'm pretty sure the idea is that whatever happened at the end of No Way Home, when all the multiverses began to kind of seep into one, Vulture came in. But that begs the question, though. How come all the Spider-Man and all of the villains and Venom all came to the MCU and then went straight back? How come Vulture stays in this new universe? That doesn't make any sense.
It's so confusing. Like it's not properly explained. And we don't know which universe this in. He just looks like he's just been transported back to somewhere. Oh yeah, that reminds me of something. You know, in No Way Home, there's like the spell like that the villains know Peter Parker. Why isn't Vulture in there?
Because he's not dead and he's not from another universe, I guess. I don't really know. Maybe he's already in the Morbius universe at that point. I don't know. But it seems like in the second post-credit scene, which is another really weird and nonsensical scene, they meet up and Vulture, who has made himself a new suit, which doesn't make any sense because Adrian Toomes didn't make the suit and he doesn't have the Chitauri weaponry in this world. But
Yeah,
whatever. And then like he comes in, he's like, hey, we should team up. And it's just Sony wanting to do the Sinister Six again. And it's like, guys, this is not how you do it. like No Way Home was actually like an interesting way to do it because, and obviously it didn't really do it, but having multiple villains, because not just because they'd already been set up, but because it's not like a thing that they like plan. You know, it's not like a thing that you've set up. It's just like they're all here. They all want to get Spider-Man. So they decide in that moment to band together. It's not like a kind of thing where they're like, oh, we're going to plan to be nefarious. You know, like we don't even know if Spider-Man exists in this Venom Morbius universe. It's just
It's going to ruin like the character arc for Morbius. Like he's trying to like protect people and he's like, let's do some good. And then just trying to attack Spider-Man. I don't know. This is not properly explained or something. Now, what are we going to give it out of?
Oh, I mean, that's just a good question. I mean, personally, I think Matt Smith is the only thing that I actually liked about this film.
I'm going to say 1 out of 10.
I'm going to have to agree with you because nothing else really stands out to me.
Soundtrack score? No. Acting? 99% goes to Matt Smith.
Matt Smith deserves an award for doing such a good job in such a bad film.
Cinematography was just messy. Editing, so inconsistent. Story, boring. The story was just boring. It's just nothing really compelled me to like, oh my God, this is so moving. But no, there wasn't really anything to that. 1 out of 10. This is worse than Crimes of Grindelwald.
Yes, not without a doubt. But hey, we never have to watch it ever again. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Please don't watch Morbius. Do anything else with your time.
Please, don't go and see the guy who said Marvel flicks will keep on. Save cinema. It did not save cinema. There's other things that save cinema. You moose. You can tell that we're depressed already from talking about this.
Yeah, there's nothing left. There's no emotions remain other than just pain. That rhymed though, so it's getting better very slowly.
And hopefully we'll get to see a good film.
Fantastic Beasts might be good, but I'm not really holding out much hope. But Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic the Hedgehog 2, that'll be good. That'll be fun.
Yes.
Hopefully.
We got the posters. We got them posters from Cineworld, just like walking out the cinema, like, oh my God, the Sonic 2 Hedgehog posters. And we're like, yes, this
the
will
Sonic
help
2 Hedgehog.
Wait, did I just say that? Oh my God.
You said Sonic 2 Hedgehog. Sonic 2 Hedgehog. Hell yeah.
You can tell this is ruining our brains talking about Morbius. No, we just saw the posters and we're like, Sonic, yeah. Just like, wait, what did we give Sonic out of 10? The first one.
I mean, when we first watched it, I don't know what you gave it, but I think I gave it like a 6.
I think I gave it 7 or a 6.
Nice. I mean, that's miles better than Morbius, at least.
Oh, yeah, that's a fun one, but no. Yeah.
But yeah, if you enjoyed it, please, for us, give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more. As I said, we did Venom and Venom Let There Be Carnage, so you can check out our thoughts and all that. And next week we're going to be doing Fantastic Beasts: Secrets of Dumbledore. It's not going to be as bad as Morbius. I really hope not, at least. Let's hope it fixes that franchise. But one day we'll do a good film on the pod again. One day. I promise it's coming. And yeah, if you want to follow us, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Outside Film Pod. And if you want to email us, tell us your thoughts on Morbius or ask us any questions or anything, we'll answer them on the podcast if you email us at outsidefilmpod@gmail.com.
Thank you for listening. Be safe. Take away you're given.
Give nothing back.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.